All right. Well, I've done a lot of work. Um, might not seem like it, but it did take a long time. Here's the finished base of the foundation of the truck stop. Um, that probably took about 5 6 hours to make. It's a bunch of different sheets, and I butt jointed them together with glue. I had to reinforce a few spots, but that's all going to be inside the building where nobody's going to see it, so it doesn't really matter. But it was pretty flimsy, because these butt joints aren't very strong unless you reinforce them. Because if I pick this up by the middle here, there's a good chance that it could split right alongside that. Once it's glued onto the base of the building, it'll be fine because the building is going to go right across here on this line, and so that's going to reinforce that joint, and and it's not going to get moved around a lot. So I mean, once it's on the table, it's going to be pretty much there to stay till death do I part, or we end up having to move for some reason, which God forbid. Over here, we got the roofs for the building. Here's the bottom part. It's kind of built like a tray. And this is going to be underneath. This is the ceiling of the restaurant. So I'm going to be drilling into this. I'm going to go all the way along the front and the side. And I'm going to have LEDs along here. And then more LEDs on the inside to light up the restaurant. The inside of the restaurant is going to be fully detailed. I just ordered and paid for a bunch of booths from my buddy Rolando, so I can add to the booths that I already have. But this is the roof. It's a two-piece roof. This goes on top like a tray, and once I got that way, I'll have all the wiring inside the roof. There'll be one wire come out. Everything else will be tucked inside. And generally, this is very similar roof to the car wash, and this is not going to really get glued down. I might tack it in the corners, just tack it to keep it kind of from moving around a little bit. But in case I ever have to get in there to fix wiring or something like that, I don't want to really glue it down heavily. It doesn't look like much, but these things all took a lot of time to build. A lot of cutting, a lot of filing, a lot of fitting. So we got the foundation, we got the roof. There's the building. Let me walk around here to it. It's nice having these diorama tables because I can use them as workbenches until I populate them. And that's a big help being able, especially on a big project like this. This is the biggest project, the biggest building that I've built. And I massively screwed up on it. Of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't, right? Um, One of the mistakes I made, I took the concept of building this. I was like, okay, this is going to be really big. I learned from my lesson building the car wash that, okay, a big building you're going to have to build in sections. You don't really want to try to, eat the whole elephant in one bite, so to speak. Well, so I did that, but what I really should have did is I should have built these sections separately, like this as a section, this as a section, and that as a section. And I kind of did that. But what I should have did is I should have prepared the foundation and then glued each piece separately onto the foundation. And I didn't, and I eyeballed it, and I ended up making a major, major mistake on this thing. And let's see, it'll probably be best viewed from above, but you could probably see that there's a bit of an angle going on right here. And it's even more visible when you look to the front. And if you look here, this angle is off too. And I attribute that to probably, I don't know, I might have sniffed too much glue that day as far as as far as working on this thing. I need to get some better ventilation down here. I don't know. But I ended up screwing up, and I thought, okay, well, since I had it done, I'm going to live with it, right? I decided I can't live with it. So I ended up having to take the one corner joint apart. Let's move around over here. And I thought I was screwed because, once you get the joints together, and it's hard to bust them apart without breaking things. But then I remembered that I bought some Uncure. Oops. Let's see if we can get a little better light on this thing. It's called Uncure. It removes super glue. It debonds it. It also removes paint too, if you're not careful with it. So a little bit of this into the corner, and I was able to bust the corner apart without breaking anything that I can't fix easily. So we're going to reposition that corner, but I'm going to wait until I mount it on the foundation to do so that I can make sure that I get it straight. I got a little bit of an angle on this other one here, but this one isn't so bad that I can't hide it with the roof. So that angle, people really aren't going to notice. The other side, I notice. I mean, when I have the roof on it, it does kind of camouflage it to some extent, but I'm just not happy with the angle. And the more I looked at it, the worse I felt about it. So what I'm going to do with this is, once I get it on its foundation, I'm going to straighten this and square this, and then I'll probably have to add a little material back here and repaint a little spot back here. So that's not going to be a major deal, but I'm going to do that when I'm working on the foundation. So, but yeah, what can you do, right? Except fix it. You can either, you can fix it or beep it, as bikers would say. If you can't fix it, screw it. But I can fix it, so that's what I'm doing. And, I think it'll look all right. It's going to be in a spot. The only thing is that on the prototype, the original building, this wall is continuous through here, and mine's going to be have a little bit of a divot, but that's okay. I tried to stay close to the original design of the building. I had to make a few changes just to make it easier to build for me, and one of the changes is I shrunk the building down just slightly as far as its floor space, not as far as its scale or actual size for height or anything. What I did is I made, like I said, I think I said it in the other video too, I just made this a little bit shorter than what it was originally, and put 2 garage doors instead of 3. And the reason I did this is I would have had to make another splice with a butt joint in order to get this big enough to cover this end. And by keeping it this size, I was able to use a standard sheet and not have to do a bunch of, fiddling to get an extra 2 inches basically. So I basically cut 2 inches off of this. So the footprint of this building, if you compared it to the actual footprint of the real building that still exists, this footprint would be just slightly smaller front to back. Otherwise, the footprint's the same. Everything's the same on it. So I'm going to continue with this. I've got a lot of work to do to it. Buildings like this, this kind of building, building the way I do takes time. And it does take a lot of plastic. I was surprised at how much plastic sheeting and plastic shape styrene that this thing took to build it to this far. It is 2 feet basically by 2 feet, give or take a few inches, but that's its rough footprint. And I bought a ton of styrene, at least I thought was a ton of styrene, with some of the money from the flood and or the insurance payment. And I used it all up, just about. This thing just sucked in that plastic, and I just, more and more. Pretty soon, I got like over 100, almost $200 worth of plastic into it. So, but that's the way it goes. Still got a long ways to go. I got 3D printed booths and some other details, a coffee maker and other things coming in for the restaurant. So that stuff will have to be painted. I'm probably going to be working on this for another couple weeks. Got to wire it, get all the lighting installed. I got a lot of lights to install because I'm going to do all the way around the soffits. It's going to be lit on both sides over here. And up on top of here, there's going to be two Miller Engineering Shell signs. Because I'm going to rebrand this as a Shell station. Because when I originally started with the diorama, I decided I was going to have 5 gas stations. And I had all the custom decals made at that time. And this was originally a Pure brand truck stop. And that was one brand I didn't have done. But I do have Shell, and I had some really nice signs. So it's going to be a Shell. And that's about it on that. And that's pretty much where I'm at. My buddy Sven is working on making some old soda cases, the old Coca-Cola cases. Got one back here. You can see it down there. So he's going to make me a bunch of those and a bunch of bottles and a bunch of 12-ounce cans. Beer cases, the old cardboard beer cases. I'm going to hit my good friend Rhonda up to do the decals for it. But that's another project for another time. And, it's 3D printing, since I'm having it all designed and made, it's probably going to take my budget for a couple months. I did order silicone for making molds because these two sections of the diorama are going to take a lot of buildings like that, and I need to have the materials, so we're going to do a big mold pour before winter, and that way I can make a bunch of castings and keep building. So we'll do that when it comes in. But one thing nice is I buy from Alumilite resins and silicone mold stuff. And they have a program where you get points, and you can also get points for like referring and posting on your website, stuff like that. So I managed to get a bunch of points up. I didn't even know how many points I had, but basically I had enough points to pay for the silicone. I had to pay like $9 for shipping, so I ended up getting $200 worth of silicone for $9 shipping, which really is a pretty good deal. So. Anyways, but that's about all we got going on right now. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and we'll see you next time.